Guys, welcome back to Protective Film Solutions. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. Today is going to be an awesome day because today we have new parts, new mods for Project R8, and as you can see, they're already underway with working on the car. It's after hours, which means it's time to work on some personal projects, and I'm really excited because the new suspension has come in. So we're going to go and get it dialed in, and get working on the car. So as you can see, the R8's over on our paint correction side. We've got a nice area after hours to get our up on quick jacks, which makes it so much easier to work on. You know, rather than jacking up one side at a time, trying to do one wheel, it takes so long. So we have these quick jacks, which help out a lot. Obviously, we can't do this on a rack because you have to drive on it. You got to pull wheels off so it doesn't work. So Ralphie and Vince already got the car up on quick jacks, and as you can see, they're already underway. This is something the front end of the car. With the R8 chassis, you've got to get through all the plastics in order to access the top mounts on the front. So car's already up in there, it's floating, and it's ready to start the install. So they got all the boring part stuff done while I was sitting in the office stuffing my face. So thanks, Vince. So yeah, the whole point of this video is to get the car lowered. So from the factory, the Audi R8 is a low car, but it's not dialed in, it's not slammed on the ground. Obviously with the new lightweight wheels and tires, we need to get it dialed in a bit further. So it was no brainer with what setup we were gonna do. So our friend Tim at BC Racing has hooked us up, and our new coilovers are in. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys the option of what we're running with. So these just came in a few days ago, and I'm stoked because I ran these on the Aston Martin, and it was a great setup. So Tim has hooked us up, of course, hooks us up with all this stuff, some t-shirts. So what we can do with BC Racing is it's not just a one and done setup. So Tim allows me to go ahead and customize my setup with the new upgraded Swift springs, as well as choosing the dampening, the spring rates, all those things. So I'll show you guys the suspension, nice and shiny. So this is the new coilover from BC Racing. They've had this kit out for a while for the Audi R8. Again, we ran a very similar setup on Project Aston, which I daily drove for the most part, but we also tracked it, took it straight to Laguna Seca. We did Button Willow, we did Chuck Walla, we've done a few tracks. So love the suspension, so it's a no-brainer going with them again. On this setup, so you have your damper, and that's from BC Racing. We have the upgraded springs, so this is the Swift springs. We're going to be running a 14 kg front, 12 kg rear. I did a lot of research back and forth on the forums, trying to get it dialed in, and that seems like the best overall setup for the goal of how to be driving the car. And then of course, with this setup, you can adjust the dampening. So you can adjust it at the top here with the firmness or softness, depending on how firm or soft you need the ride to be. And that is kind of part of the process of getting dialed in. But from the get-go, we're going to start in the medium, get on the ground, see how it all fits, and then go back and get it dialed in further. So excited to get these on the car finally, and really see how the car can handle. So we're going to start on the install and join Ralphie and Vince right now. So you can see the old wheels and tires already off the car. These are the stock wheels from Audi with wrapped in Michelin tires, which were a great setup, and they're actually, I think, a forged wheel from the manufacturer. So they're not bad. As you can see, these have a little bit of curb rash on it, silver, which I'm not a fan of that. You guys already saw in the last video, these are our brand new Apex Race Parts EC7R wheels, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Thank you again to both of these companies for helping us out. And really, once we get this thing lowered on the ground, it's gonna look a lot better with these wheels. So, you guys have met Ralphie before in previous videos. Ralphie is our lead tech. Vince has been here now for, Vince, you've been here for over a year?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
So Vince came from another shop, and he joined our team, and we've been lucky enough to have both of them. So what these guys do is, these guys do all the teardown and reassembly on cars. Because there's so many cars that come in here, Ralphie was a one-man team before, and as we kept growing, he's working a lot of overtime hours, so we brought Vince on. It's been great, and they work very well together, so we're really lucky to have them both. But with the cars you work on, depending on if it's getting clear bra, vinyl wrap, ceramic coating, wherever it is, they always need some sort of teardown. So having our own technicians do that doesn't make any sense. It's a skilled trade. So just like anything else, we are not going to have Logan come back and install it for PPF. I'm not going to go and do ceramic coating myself. I'm not going to have Ralphie go to the front, go talk to customers and check them in. So everyone does their own thing. So all that needs to come out as well as the top so we can get access to it and install the struts. So, all right. Yes.
Thank you, my good man.
Good. The front suspension's out, so we're gonna go and get the two front assemblies in. So we're gonna get the dampening dialed into 19 clicks in, which is a little bit further past halfway to give it more of a firm ride without going really super stiff on it. So one thing you guys can see at the top is the top of the OEM damper has the electronics. What that is for is the EDC, so electronic dampening control from the factory from Audi. Obviously, the new coilovers do not have that up top. So the right way of doing this is getting the EDC delete kit. So this is a plug and play kit. You plug it in there so that way you don't have the light on the dash. I mean, you can code it out, but there's always a chance it comes back on and then it cuts the traction, and I don't want to deal with that. So even though it costs a little bit more, we're doing it the right way. That way I don't have to worry about it when I'm driving the car, especially out on track. You don't want your traction to get caught back on. So that's one thing that Vince is already mounting, you can see on here, to go ahead and eliminate the EDC from the factory. So we're gonna get that mounted up and tucked in nice and neatly in the fender well. So as you can see, Vince already got the first one dialed in, so it's nice and neatly tucked in at the top there, zip tied in place, and it's firmly ran across. So again, what this does is it eliminates the EDC light from coming on the dash. So we do it right the first time, so I don't have to come back and bug these guys again. So high five.
Yeah, very nice.
So Vince, tell me your backstory, because he's been here for just over a year now, but he actually came in and met with me while he was working somewhere else. And he was a mechanic, but he wanted to work for PFS. So how did it happen again?
So I came in and just walked through the front door, asked them if they were, hiring, looking for somebody. They said, not really, but we'll take your resume and we'll see. So I was like, all right, great, that's a start. So I gave it to them, and then Ryan, he texted me out of nowhere. Yeah. And I was like, oh, great, that's a good start. Yeah. So texting back and forth. Thought it was going good until I didn't get a response back, and so I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? He's the boss. He's busy. I'm just nobody. So didn't take any offense. A couple weeks went by. I ended up leaving my old job, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna see what I can do, see what I can find. Just figure it out from there. And then about a week later, I just happened to be checking my email, and I saw an email from Ryan, just completely out of the blue, and I was like, no way. So I looked and said, hey, we have a mechanics position open, would you like to? And I said, absolutely, I'll take it, I'll be there tomorrow. So that was it. It was just luck.
So I've only been here for 3 years. I didn't start with the company, obviously. This has been around for 17 years, but we've had literally zero turnover, so we don't have a lot of job openings. So we get inquiries all the time. People ask, what can I do? Even if I can come around intern, sweep around the shop, whatever. We love it, but we can't do that. When you're working on high-end cars, you've got to have the experience coming into this. So even though Vince was overly qualified for the job, we just weren't hiring at the time. So I'm glad it worked out because he absolutely kills it. He takes pride in his work too, because it's one thing just to be good at what you do, but taking pride in it and being easy to work with makes it a team. And Ralphie enjoys it. They kick each other's butts all day, but they get the job done, so it works out well. So appreciate you, man. So we got one side down. Let's go back over to the other side and keep working on it. So you can see the whole inner panel fender liner's off for now, and what you can actually see is where it connects from the air intake box, the factory one, and it wraps all the way over. You see the camera inside of there, it goes into the side blade. So that's where on the V8 side blade, it's a lot thinner, but it pulls air from the side and directs up to the engine. The V10 one obviously comes off a few inches more, and then the LMS GT3 one comes off like 4 or 5 inches. That's the side blade we want. It's gonna get as much airflow through it. So a few more months down the road, we're gonna go that route. But for now, we've got that out of place. And Ralphie did all the work, but I'm just sitting here pretending like I did it. But now we're gonna go and get the top strut bolt off and pull this assembly out. So you've told me before you actually like working on the R8.
Now I do. Not at the beginning.
Yeah?
There's so many bolts, just so many bolts, and you just have to get used to like getting to know where they go, because some of the bolts have like a little bit of like sleeves on them, so you don't like put too much pressure like on plastics.
Yeah. But you worked on Ryan's R8 when he had it, what, 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah.
You said that car, once you started tearing it down for each wrap, it was actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they're well-built cars. It's just there's so many bolts, so at first you just get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But once you get...
But they're pretty simple compared to Ferraris and Lamborghinis, some of the cars that might be over-engineered.
Yeah, I think the Lamborghinis are pretty tough for sure. I think the Ferraris, they're good. It's just they're I don't want to say like they're fragile, but like there's parts where you're definitely gonna have to be careful on them.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, you've taken.
Except Mercedes. I hate Mercedes. Mercedes is just horrible.
What about the Jaguar we worked on till 2 in the morning?
Oh yeah.
Trying to take the door liner off.
Yeah.
So I had a Jaguar F-Type, and Jaguar, they don't make any aftermarket parts for. So you're stuck using like the high-end, like the Type R parts, trying to source some of the factory racing parts or aftermarket. So I just started working here, and Ralphie helped me install the side sills. And we were here for like 8 hours, taking apart the whole side skirt to the door sill. And everywhere we read online says that if you do it a certain way, you're gonna bend the door sills. And you give this guy a couple hours and to kind of take his time and plan it out. We popped those off and did what they said you couldn't do.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience. I think a lot of people don't have patience.
Yeah.
I don't really have patience, but it was your car.
That's the difference though. So, you know, we talked about Vince a little bit, but Ralphie's been here. When did you start, Ralphie?
I started like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started and kind of learned. I kind of learned on the job, but I got a lot of training from like a couple of friends. Ryan has a connection to certain spots, so a lot of people were pretty cool, and they helped me out and stuff.
Yeah. And you just gotta have the will to kind of learn, because I mean, this guy, like I said, taking pride in your work. How many times have we taken cars apart from other shops and even brand new cars for you to find mismatched hardware, wood screws, super glue? He's seen everything.
Yeah, it gets pretty brutal sometimes, especially with body kits.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised like what type of hardware they use, because you'll find like some drywall screws, like, it's not even kidding. It's not like.
But you've seen on even manufacturer. Yeah, he can't say who, but there's some cars that we see coming through here, and if we're working on the cars, taking them apart for PPF, final wrap and stuff, this is the guy who's gonna see everything. So you cannot hide anything from us, because when he takes apart your car, he's gonna find it. But the next step with that is he's not just gonna find it and move on and put it back together that way. He's gonna put it back to the right way. So he's got just boxes and boxes of hardware, all the right tools. He spends his time to put it back the right way. So it really goes above and beyond. So another reason why we appreciate having Ralphie here, because that's what makes the build the overall quality of the job, right?
And Vince.
And Vince. Well, we talked about Vince already. So Vince got a high five, you did it.
Oh my God, this is tough.
Ralphie's got the last fender flare going on, but Vince already has the first wheel on the car. So I'm anxious to see the new fender. So you can see the first look at the new Apex wheel Michelin tire being mounted on the car. And it's looking nice. So one of the things that I really love about using a smaller wheel is it really shows off the big brakes behind there. When you jump up to like a 20-inch wheel, the brakes get lost behind there, and the R8 brakes are not small, but when you jump up to too large a wheel, makes it look weird. So this has got a really beefy look to it. It fills out the wheel well. Apex wheels are made to clear calipers, so the fitment's great on there. And of course, it's got a beefy tire, so we'll see how it looks when it's on the ground, because once it's lowered, it should be really, really aggressive, but if I did all the calculations right online, then it should work out. So Vince was wondering why I'm stressing out, because the project's not done yet. So this looks amazing. I'm already excited, I can't stop smiling. Here's the problem part of the R8. So right here, this is where the tightest point is on contact. So if you look down the side over here, we're running super, super aggressive, which means there's poke right now until it's lowered on the ground. Now, to avoid a certain contact, you have to lower it a certain amount. So it's gonna be really, really precise with how we get it, but this bolt is still a concern, so fingers crossed on it. Once we drop it on the ground, it's still gonna take a few different times to get it dialed in, but this thing is what's scaring me right now, so yeah. But this looks ridiculous. This looks nuts. So about 4 hours later, coilovers are on and the car's on the ground. So far the wheels are clearing and I'm super excited to get this thing outside. It's nighttime, but we're still gonna go take it out for a spin and make sure everything feels good, and then bring it back in for one more adjustment. So let's go jump in. All right guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. We are gonna get this thing dialed in. We're gonna lower the back a little bit more, get the front just a little bit up, but for now I'm stoked on it. Suspension feels amazing, and I'm stoked that the wheels and tires fit. So huge shout out to Tim at BC Racing and the whole BC Racing team. Thank you so much for choosing us again to use your products. I'm stoked on this build now, and now I'm really excited to get this thing out on track. So thank you guys again for watching. Please subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.